Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Juan's World. I'm coming back just for a little while to do some cooking. I'm extremely busy these days. I'm doing a lot of teaching and research and writing, and I don't really have time for videos even once a week, but I'm going to be making Lancashire Hot Pot today, and it's the first time I've made it in many years. But I had some lamb in the freezer that I thought, well, I'm going to use that up. So, and here it is. So I'm going to do a classic kind of hot pot. I'm not sure yet what my vegetable is going to be, but we'll see. Let's get started. Alright, first thing I'm going to need to do is to chop up the lamb and brown it. Here's my cooking pot on high heat with a small amount of extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to add the lamb. The lamb is actually lamb shoulder, not very common to find lamb in Cambodia, so I have to do the best I can. This is okay. It's good enough to roast or to grill, but I would normally use a lesser cut, but I can't get it here. So vigorously brown the lamb, and next step is I'm going to soften some onions. Those are the basic ingredients at the outset. I'm going to make them into a kind of a stew, if you like, and begin that process. And then I'm going to refrigerate the stew overnight and make the hot pot tomorrow. Or maybe it won't be tomorrow, because I'm actually very busy tomorrow, maybe the next day. But it'll be refrigerated for a while. But see, first thing I've got to do is to make sure that this is well browned off. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to set that aside and do my onions. So I'm just softening up some onions now. I've sliced them, not very thin. I just want to soften them up. I want them to be white, not taking on color. And I'm going to add just a small amount of garlic. There's not a lot of seasonings in this dish. Garlic is really the main one. So let's just add the garlic, and I'm going to add a little bit of flour because we're making a stew here, so we need to thicken it up a little bit. And I'm just going to add a tiny amount of flour. Well, when I say a tiny amount, I mean, you know, a tablespoon or two. Just to act as a thickening agent. So in French cooking terms, we would say that I'm making a white roux. Turn up a little bit. Again, don't want to brown anything here. I just want to amalgamate everything. Cook the flour just a little bit. Then I'm going to add back my meat. and I'm going to add some stock, and I'm going to cook for about 30 minutes and then cool and refrigerate at least overnight. I'm not sure when I'm going to do the rest here, but I'm getting started right now so that I'm ahead of the game because I'm so very busy these days. There's just been a festival here in Cambodia called Pajumban, which is the festival of honoring the ancestors, and it's a very big festival. So I've been doing that and trying to do my writing, and doing some interviewing and research and all the rest of it. It's all too much. Okay, so I'm going to add in some stock. That's good. And I'm going to add back in my lamb. And now I'm just going to put it on very slow simmer, and I'm going to let it cook for about 30 minutes. You can see that it's nice and thick. I probably won't incorporate much of the gravy into the hot pot, same as with making something like steak and kidney pudding. That is, I make a soupy beginning point, but then I take most of the solid part out and leave the liquid back in my skillet to make the gravy. So, but right now I need a nice bath of stock to cook the meats partially, not totally, partially, and then we'll assemble the next day. Maybe tomorrow, not sure. So come back and we'll finish it off. Now the final step should be to add another vegetable, but some people, I'm not sure how many, but some people add lamb's kidneys to the stew as the basis. And I can't get lamb's kidneys at all, but I can get pork kidneys, and I had some, so I thought, all right, I'll brown them up. So next day, when I'm finishing up with the vegetables and whatnot, I browned off some kidneys and added them. And then I had to make a decision. Carrots are the normal vegetable to add into the basis, but I thought, well, I'll try mushrooms instead. So I incorporated some mushrooms, and then final step is to slice up some potatoes fairly thinly and layer them on the top. If you look in cookbooks or videos, you see people making a really beautiful job of layering them around the top. I'm not quite as good as that, and I'm not a chef or a celebrity cook. I'm just a home cook. So just layered them on. Then you put them in a hot oven. I actually put mine in the hottest oven possible, but as hot as you care to do, and bake for about 90 minutes. And towards the end, turn the broiler on because you want to brown off the potatoes after. You want everything to cook, and so it's going to take about an hour and a half for everything to cook, including the lamb, which you haven't really completely cooked in the stew pot when it was in the skillet. So you need to finish that off. Takes about an hour and a half. For the last, let's say, 20 minutes, turn the broiler on so that you brown the top off, and then you're done. Well, as it turns out, I was not really keen on the mushrooms for a couple of reasons. One of them is that they were not your sort of sturdy field mushrooms from England. They were Asian mushrooms, some straw mushrooms and some oyster mushrooms. They didn't really add what I wanted. So I ate maybe half of the original, and then I reversed course and went back to the old-fashioned carrots. I just parboiled them in some of the gravy, added them to the stew part, put them in a smaller pot, of course, because it's I'd eaten half. Layered some potatoes over the top, back in the oven for another 90 minutes, 20-30 minutes with the broiler on, browning off the top. And that was what I really should have done in the first place. The carrots and onions and lamb together is the perfect combination. The mushrooms might have worked if I'd had different mushrooms, but it just didn't work with the ones I had. Lamb and mushrooms, not a big favorite of mine. So anyway, I have also done another video of a soup that I made, a Cambodian soup, Sam Lor Kokor, which I made originally for Pajumbin, the holiday that was just passed. And I did that again. So next week you're going to get another cooking video about that. But for meanwhile, have a good week. Enjoy your time, whether you're on holiday, working with family, whatever. But please remember to like, to subscribe, and I'll be back in about a week.